Today on Animal Science, did you know that a bald eagle can reach speeds of up to 100 miles per hour during an aerial attack on its unsuspecting prey? And while this creature isn't going to break any speed records, it's got some of the deadliest venom on Earth. Plus, chew on this. A camel's mouth is designed so it can eat almost anything, even a thorny bush. Now, if you find that hard to swallow, bite your tongue. It's time to go beyond the pretty pictures and find out what truly makes each animal tick. Welcome to the fascinating world of animal science. Animals use all sorts of tricks to survive in the wild. Some are supremely sly. Others use superhuman speed. And then there are those who use brute force. If you're a small animal, or even a fish, keep your eye on the sky. Because once you've been spotted by this powerful air predator, consider yourself lunch. Meet the American symbol of strength, the bald eagle. All year round, warm air rises, and the bald eagle's large wings are designed to catch this upward-moving thermal air current, just like a hang glider. That gives these birds of prey plenty of time and energy to take care of more important things, like finding food. Today's special, fresh fish. Bald eagles use their razor-sharp talons to catch prey with a bone-crushing grip that's about 10 times stronger than any human. And get a hold of this. The bald eagle's grip works exactly like a ratchet. Tiny ridges in their muscles interlock, so once it picks up its prey, there's no letting go until the eagle has landed and eaten. And in this corner, standing about 8 feet tall, weighing in around 800 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, the grizzly bear. And in the other corner, anyone? Because of their size and strength, grizzly bears are at the top of the food chain and are unmistakably muscular. You can see the proof of its prowess on its back in the form of a large hump. This powerful, massive muscle is used to power the bear's forelimbs, which are used for digging and tearing apart anything they can get their paws on, including fish, deer, moose, and even other grizzly bears. So what else can a grizzly do with its superhuman strength? Pretty much anything it wants to.
Wolves have been introduced into Yellowstone recently. The effect of wolves being introduced into Yellowstone has to some extent changed the behavior of grizzly bears. They don't hibernate as long, and they like to follow the wolves around and steal carcasses from them. Grizzly bears are much, much bigger, much, much stronger than any particular wolf. I'm sure a wolf can tell that if a grizzly bear got a hold of it, it would not be a good day for that wolf.
And when you combine the grizzly bear's strength with its claws, which can grow up to 6 inches long, you've got the bare necessities of one of the most powerful predators in the world. Everyone knows that an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, or can it? These ants sure can. They can move any plant or tree they get their jaws on, piece by piece. These mighty mini machetes are leafcutter ants, and they use their powerful jaws, which can vibrate at about 1,000 times a second to cut through and collect leaves. And here's another amazing ant attribute. These 6-legged soldiers march home with leaf pieces that can be over 50 times their own weight, and in foraging lines that may stretch more than 500 yards. That's 5 football fields. The secret to their strength lies in their size. Simply put, leafcutter ants are so strong because they're so small. This gives them a high power-to-weight ratio and enables the ants to lift the leaves necessary for survival. Once these mighty munchers get back to their nest, they use the leaves to grow fungus gardens that feed the rest of the colony, which can be as large as 3 million ants. With so many mouths to feed, you need all of the muscle you can get. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how Mother Nature likes to work. Unlike your computer, which needs updating every few years or so, Mother Nature has designed some pretty awesome animals that have stood the test of time. Somewhere below this surface, an ancient, man-eating, living relic swims. Say hello to the alligator. Thanks to Mother Nature's durable design, the alligator has survived in swamps for about the last 250 million years. That dates back to the era of dinosaurs. How has it managed to survive for so long? Take a look at its jaws. The alligator has the most powerful bite force ever measured. That kind of prehistoric power gives the alligator a nose up when it comes to catching its prey. And here's another evolutionary advantage for the alligator: its stealthy skull design.
Here's where the eyes would be. All right, so it's right at the top. So when it comes up, it only has to expose maybe this much. They can literally just quietly sneak through the water, just a little bit of nose and the eyes sticking out, maybe not even that. And then when they get up to shore, they can lunge very quickly.
Here, we see a hungry alligator on the hunt. He's designed to be an eating machine, and so is his brain. It's about the size of a walnut, and most of it is dedicated to instinctual behavior. That's why the olfactory bulb is so big. This gives the gator an excellent sense of smell. And the cerebrum, used for higher brain function, is pretty small, especially compared to the medulla oblongata, where involuntary functions are overseen. In other words, this alligator is all instinct. Alligators may not be the brightest predators in the pond, but that doesn't stop them from being able to eat anything they come across. So if you ever come across one, say, "See you later, alligator." Despite having no bones, no brain, no protective shell, or even a pair of eyes, the jellyfish has been successfully wandering the waterways for at least 500 million years. Today, jellyfish can be found doing the same thing they've been doing all along: swimming, eating, and stinging. Some put on a splashy light show.
Jellyfish, many of them have this series of chemicals in their bodies that allow them to give off bioluminescence. And the glow can be used for a couple of things. It can attract food, that sort of thing. It can sometimes deter predators, frighten them off.
And if a potential predator isn't frightened by the light, the jellyfish will turn to a secret weapon: its tentacles. A jellyfish's tentacles can reach length greater than 100 feet and are equipped with hollow, harpoon-like darts that sting just about anything that happens to pass by. With so many tricks up its sleeve, tentacles, the next 500 million years is looking pretty bright for this showstopper. Here's an evolution success story. It's a shark tale that goes back about 400 million years. When we think about a shark, the first thing that comes to mind is its mouth. Sharks have no bone. Their entire bodies are made up of soft cartilage. As a result, their teeth can move around to avoid the hard, bony areas of fish. But of course, before the shark can enjoy its meal, it first has to find one. For this, it uses super shark senses.
Sharks are notorious for having many well-developed senses. They also have a kind of distance touching, which all fish have. And it comes by virtue of the fact they have a lateral line. And the lateral line system running down fish detects pressure changes in water. So if fish is splashing around, it can pick it up.
With that kind of superhuman sense, it's no wonder these awesome fish have been patrolling the world's oceans for so long. When we come back, we'll catch up to the fastest land animal in the Western Hemisphere. And what's a mob doing in the desert? When we come back, you'll meet this aeronautical expert and learn all about the power of flight. Right here on Animal Science.
The Americans with Disabilities Act was designed to help the disabled, but increasingly its beneficiaries are predatory lawyers who use technical infractions to extort small and minority-owned businesses. In fact, roughly 40% of all ADA lawsuits happen right here in California. It's killing local economies and jobs. Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse is pushing back, and you can help. Lawyers have powerful friends in Sacramento, but our local communities can win this. Hear the real stories on the Kayla Report podcast and join in the fight at CaliforniaKayla.org.
Why is America paying attention to the race?
Because what happens in this town happens to your town too.
Here on the steps of the U.S. Capitol after a
The
historic...
decisions made in this house are felt in the heart of yours.
Every night on the race, we take you to the people, policies, and the political points of impact.
We want to add some context around it tonight.
The Race, weeknights at 6/5 Central on Scripps News. Watch with an antenna or on your favorite streaming app.
Why is America paying attention to the race? Because what takes place on both sides of the aisle here can be seen on both sides of these aisles.
The Race, weeknights at 6 on Scripps News. Watch with an antenna or on your favorite streaming app.
Celebrity trials are like no other. You not only have the drama of what's happening inside of the courtroom, there's the drama of who these people are. Paparazzi everywhere, people just hoping to get a glimpse. It's something that we haven't seen anything quite like.
A strong showing for the case against Robert Kelly.
There's this balance between the pizzazz of celebrity and the seriousness of a trial in a courtroom, and Court TV gets to bring you all of it.
I'm Marisa Giorgio, live from our studio in Missoula, Montana, and this is America Tonight.
Scripps News takes you ahead of the headlines.
We're reading between the lines there.
America Tonight on Scripps News. Find with an antenna or on your favorite streaming app.
His identity, a mystery.
Who is he?
His sword, lightning fast.
I challenge you!
His name,
Zorro! Zorro!
Zorro! Zorro. Tuesday starting 5/4 Central on Grid Extra.
Give me something new. I want the real you.
That is the best idea I've ever heard.
Yes, of course we can get you more.
Rex, go!
Angus MacGyver.
You know that was fun.
Just give me more.
A masked hero, a faithful sidekick, a trusty steed, and a boundless trail of blazing adventure.
So you're the masked man?
I'm afraid so. Coming after you.
Thundering its way into our weekday lineup.
This mask stands for justice. Come on.
The Lone Ranger. Wednesdays on Grid Extra.
We'll be waiting for them.
Television with backbone.
Bounce elevates and celebrates the achievements of HBCUs all year long.
From the classroom to the field, we are making history.
Bounce HBCU Yearbook.
I'm a judge. I loved being on the bench. I want viewers to see that, to know what it's like to love being in a courtroom and to love watching what happens in a courtroom.
This is a case where I think you can believe either side based on the evidence being presented.
Here at Court TV, we can show you everything. And I hope at the end of the day, they've learned a little something about what it takes to try a case and why it's so important that it's done well.
Welcome to the race weekend. I'm Joe St. George. It's time for our Inside the Race panel with our partners from Politico. There's a lot to talk about.
It's about reaching the voters.
This is so crucial.
There are a lot of people out there who are still undecided.
These are important issues that are resonating.
You can't just win, you got to win big.
Any given day, anything can change.
Elections are about the future.
We're coming to you from the Scripps News studios in Washington, D.C.
The Race Weekend, Saturday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on Scripps News.
1, 2, 3, pull down! I am proud to be able to be on the first ever HBCU gymnastics team. This is how we'll do it! To be able to show off my talents at a HBCU is very honoring.
Today's forecast, expect bone-dry conditions all year long. Welcome to the desert and to the awesome animals that make it their home. Quick, what's the first animal that comes to mind when you think of the desert? How about the camel? Camels have long been recognized as domestic animals that can travel in some of the harshest climates imaginable.
The camel has an enormous number of adaptations for living in the desert. They have tough knee pads, so when they kneel down the sand, the knee pads help protect them from abrasion and from temperature of the sand. They have very long legs, keeps the body way up off the sand. Sand gets hot. The feet can spread out into a pad. That means they don't sink into the sand.
Camels are also prickly eaters. Desert vegetation is dry and thorny, so the camel uses its thick, leather-like lips to chow down on almost anything it can get its kisser on. Appetizing, isn't it? Bon appetit! There's a mob in the desert. No, not that kind of mob. A mob is what you call a group of meerkats who live and work together in large groups. Each meerkat has an important role to fill in the mob. Some forage for food, while others stay home and stand guard.
One of their chief enemies is a large eagle, and the large eagle will come down, grab them, take them away. So what they do is they have sentinels posted at different places. Sentinel just stands there, and he's watching mostly the sky, and when they spot one, they give out a cry, and everybody runs for cover.
To help spot these air predators, the meerkat has specially designed eyes. They're darkly rimmed, which reduces glare and enhances vision in the bright desert sun. This helps the meerkat keep its eye in the sky so that it can live to see another day. Now it's time to catch up to the fastest desert dweller in the Western Hemisphere, the pronghorn.
They're very, very fast. They have very long legs, very thin, long legs, which allow them to run very quickly. They have kind of stout bodies. They're believed to have been fast runners because there used to be a type of cheetah that lived in North America, which went extinct. And it was apparently adapted to outrun this particular predator, which apparently preyed on quite often.
Pronghorn no longer have to worry about cheetahs, but that doesn't mean they're out of the woods. Today, the threats are cars, impassable fences, and development. New challenges that keep them running for their lives. One of the most basic animal instincts is reproduction. But in the wild, the mating game ain't always so easy. In fact, some animals will do just about anything to seal the deal, including risking life and limb. Every animal in the wild has a different method for mating. But when it comes to the birds and the bees, the birds know how to put on a show. How did the chicken cross the road? With style. Because we're not talking about your run-of-the-mill kind of chicken. We're talking about the prairie chicken, and he knows a thing or two about strutting his stuff. He makes his presence known by stamping his feet and letting out a booming sound, which resonates through inflated orange goulash sacks, creating a phenomena called constructive interference. That's when two waves, in this case, sound waves, combine to make it louder, hopefully loud enough to charm some chickens. But when it comes to impressing female fowls, it's hard to top this showstopper, the peacock. The shimmering colors on a peacock's tail are the result of a phenomena called interference. Interference happens when light reflects off tiny bowl-shaped indentations on each feather. You get the same effect with soap bubbles. The females look for the eyes in a peacock's tail, and the male with the most wins. But looks aren't everything. Some animals prefer to fight for their love. Literally, they'll wrestle, ram, and do almost anything to woo their woman. Giraffes are neck and neck when it comes to showing each other who's boss. When fighting over a female, they use their necks, which can weigh 600 pounds. A giraffe's neck has the same number of bones as a human neck, 7 of them. The neck fights can last a half hour before one of the giraffes gives up. And some animals resort to the usual head games when it comes to the mating game.
Many times what a deer will do is display this large set of horns. That will often be enough for younger males to think, he's the toughest guy in the block, I can't match that, I'm gonna go.
A growing deer antler is covered with sensitive skin called velvet, which is nourished by blood vessels. When the antlers reach their full size, the blood supply is cut off, and the velvet dries up and falls off. That's when the deer is ready to duel for the doe he desires.
If they're evenly matched, they're gonna lock horns. The two animals are stuck together. If they're stuck together and can't get apart, they starve.
Being all brawn isn't always best. Sometimes it just pays to be nice.
Coho salmon has this peculiar strategy of mating. There's two kinds of males. There's the male that you would expect, which is the big, well-developed males. They tend to be a little bit pushy toward the females. And then there's the other type of male. They're called jacks, and they're small. They're nicer to the females. The females tend to respond to them better, and they essentially sneak in and mate with the female when the large males aren't around and aren't looking.
Just goes to show, sometimes nice fish do finish first. When we come back, you'll meet this aeronautical expert and learn all about the power of flight. Right here on Animal Science.
One of my favorite supplements is Cunol Turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation support, and Cunol has the #1 doctor-recommended form of turmeric. Cunol, the brand I trust.
You go get him, Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear anybody knock. Shall we proceed?
My car's the best shot in the whole world. Isn't it exciting?
They call you the rifle man.
Just make it good.
You got us banned from being room parents? I have never been more in love with you.
Who wants to go nuts for donuts?
Show him your folding trick.
I'm not in the mood for your sheet right now.
That's gotta hurt, huh? keep me coming back for more.
Welcome to the race weekend. I'm Joe St. George. It's time for our Inside the Race panel with our partners from Politico. There's a lot to talk about.
It's about reaching the voters.
This is so crucial.
There are a lot of people out there who are still undecided.
These are important issues that are resonating.
You can't just win, you gotta win big.
Any given day, anything can change.
Elections are about the future.
We're coming to you from the Scripps News studios in Washington, D.C.
The Race Weekend, Saturday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on Scripps News.
There's gonna be trouble.
Are you silver?
Let's have it. Scared? You the law?
Well, that's right.
I'll find you, and I'll kill you.
Now all I need is a fresh horse, a saddle, and a gun.
Why is America paying attention to the race?
Because what happens in this town happens to your town too.
Here on the steps of the U.S. Capitol after a
The
historic...
decisions made in this house are felt in the heart of yours.
Every night on the race, we take you to the people, the policies, and the political points of impact.
We want to add some context around it tonight.
The Race, weeknights at 6, 5 Central on Scripps News. Watch with an antenna or on your favorite streaming app.
Give me something new. I want the real you.
That is the best idea I've ever heard.
Yes, of course we can get you more.
Rex, go!
Angus MacGyver.
You know that was fun.
Just give me more.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Why is America paying attention to the race? Because what takes place on both sides of the aisle here can be seen on both sides of these aisles.
The Race, weeknights at 6 on Scripps News. Watch with an antenna or on your favorite streaming app.
1, 2, 3, hold out! I am proud to be able to be on the first ever HBCU gymnastics team. This is how we'll do it! To be able to show off my talents at a HBCU is very honoring.
Bounce elevates and celebrates the achievements of HBCUs all year long.
From the classroom to the field, we are making history.
Bounce HBCU Yearbook.
Saturday night. First you moved in, you banned cigar smoke and kitchen nudity.
Oscar Madison.
Just doing my daily yoga.
Felix Unger.
You're not exactly a guy's guy.
Why? Because I use coasters? I'm an accomplished photographer. Perfect, let's start shooting. And I can make a pair of tap shoes talk. What do you say, boys?
Together, they're the odd couple.
Here, hold that.
Oscar, is that coffee? I just cleaned the rug.
Better not move.
The Odd Couple, Saturday starting 7, 6 Central on Laugh More.
Hummingbirds really are birds of a different feather. They can flap their wings up to 83 times per second. And they're the only bird that can fly backwards, hover, and even fly at surprisingly high speeds. When all birds fly, they use a force called lift. It's the same force that planes use to fly. Lift is created when the air pressure below the wing is higher or stronger than the pressure above the wing. This pushes the plane or hummingbird, in this case, up. But the hummingbird's rapid flying style requires a lot of energy.
Hummingbirds have very high metabolisms, possibly among the highest metabolisms of all animals. It's often said by many people that they're only hours away from starvation. Most of the food that it takes in goes to keeping that engine going. So if you can't feed it quick enough, you die.
Let's hear it for the hummingbird. When it comes to flying power, they've got a lot to live up to. From Animal Science, see you next time.